Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning, episode 400. Today we are on the topic of the NBA and discussing whether or not the Philadelphia 76ers can win the NBA Finals. But before getting into that topic, question for you guys watching, of course. Who leads in all-time three-pointers made in Philadelphia 76ers franchise history? If you know the answer, comment it below. If you do not, I will reveal the answer at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. But looking at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, they are number one in the Eastern Conference, number two in the NBA standings in general between the two conferences. They are having a phenomenal season for them so far, and they look like real threats to any team in the East and in the NBA in general. Of course, led by the dynamic duo of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, accompanied by Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and then coming off the bench, I like Dwight Howard a lot. Big fan of him when he used to play for the Magic. Just a big fan of him in general. Obviously, he won last year with the Los Angeles Lakers, so even if he's not a huge, contribution to the 76ers, he is a good role player and provides a lot of wisdom for them. Of course, he's not going to start in front of Joel Embiid anytime soon or ever. Tobias Harris, really skilled player, very athletic, great scorer, has been injured a little bit, banged up day to day, but has talent. Seth Curry, as we know, Steph Curry's brother, kind of in his shadow, not even close to what Steph has accomplished, but Steph Curry can drop a three relatively just as close as his brother when he gets open look. Danny Green, way out of his prime, but still can hit an open look three, even though we saw him miss in the NBA Finals last year. And then, of course, Ben Simmons, one of the top point guards in the league. I'm not the biggest fan of him in his playing style, but I can't deny he has talent and just wins basketball games. So credit is given when credit is due, and therefore the 76ers has a pretty solid lineup, of course, with a couple other guys coming off the bench as well, and their brand new head coach in Doc Rivers, who formerly coached Los Angeles Clippers last year with the famous Kawhi Leonard and Paul George duo. Only got them to the second round where they lost to the Denver Nuggets, but new start for Doc Rivers. Looking at whether or not they can win the NBA Finals, unfortunately, my answer is more than likely going to be no. Just looking at who's the East, of course, the biggest roadblock is going to be pretty clear-cut that it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan, Joe Ingles, and then Steve Nash at the head coach. That team is just one of the best in the NBA. 2 top 5 scorers in Durant and Harden, 3 top 10 scorers in Harden, Durant, and Irving. Absolute ball handlers, absolute ballers. Yes, the Nets are vulnerable defensively. They don't have the best defense, and I do think the 76ers have a very well-rounded defense compared to the Nets at least. But when it comes down to it, in the playoffs, we just have not seen the 76ers perform well in these past few years. Yes, they had some coaching mishaps. They have a brand new head coach in Doc Rivers. Simmons and Embiid have been banged up in the past playoff series. They haven't really been on the same page 100% of the time, and this year a lot of that seems to be changed. They got a new head coach in Doc Rivers. Their chemistry and injuries seem to be correct. They don't have any health issues between the two. They seem to be on the same page. I think if this is a healthy lineup, and such as they get Tobias Harris back from being away from day to day, and he's 100%, this is a team that can win 1 to 2 playoff series 100%. However, to make it to the NBA Finals is very tough. I think if they make the playoffs, guessing they'll stay at the number 1 seed in the East is hard to say because there's so much basketball left in the NBA. We're only roughly halfway through the season, roughly. So, and they're practically only 1 game ahead of the Nets, so anything could change. They could even fall to the 8th seed by the time that comes. Like I said, half the season is left, so anything could change. But assuming they finish in a top 3, top 4 seed, which is very safe to say in my opinion, I think the 76ers will probably get a solid first-round matchup, whether it be against, the Hawks, the Pacers, the Bulls, the Hornets, or, the Raptors and Celtics haven't been on their absolute peak right now. The Heat, or maybe if the Knicks ever get back into reality. Yes, they're the 4th seed in the East right now, and I'm not sure they'll stay there. I think they might fall back a little bit eventually. Either way, I think their first-round matchup, they could definitely take care of whoever it may be. Second round is when it will get interesting, and they're for sure going to have to face either a Nets or a Milwaukee Bucks or a Miami Heat or a Celtics or a Raptors. Yes, I know I just named those 3, but I think first round will have an easier matchup, like I said, between the Pacers or Bulls or Hornets, an 8th seed-ish team. I think Raptors they could handle. Celtics, that's a tough one for me because I'm a fan of the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown duo, but they don't have a lot of size, and Joel Embiid might be able to take them out in a series of 7. And same with the Heat. That could be tough. Joel Embiid on Bam Adebayo. I do think Adebayo is emerging and becoming a great player in this league. He's not going to be able to match up with Embiid right now. I do like Jimmy Butler over Simmons. Not that they're matched up either way. I do think they could edge out the Heat. It would be tough, but I do think they could. But really, like I said, it's all going to come down to, no matter what, whether it be in the first round, the divisional round, the conference finals, or the conference finals. Once they face the Nets, I just don't see the 76ers team being able to beat them. Also, you have to consider, it seems like recently, Doc Rivers, in his past years, outside of his 08 Celtics run with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Kendrick Perkins, Big Baby Davis, one of the best NBA teams of all time, Doc Rivers is not a great coach in the playoffs. He seems to blow leads. He can't really get past the second round. He's kind of notoriously known for that. Well, the Clippers are notoriously known for that, but he definitely added on to that, Kerr, Smith, whatever you want to call it, conspiracy theory. Rivers does not have the greatest reputation in the playoffs. Therefore, that is something to consider in the playoffs when they make it this year. And I just think when you have these 76ers match up against the Nets, I don't think they will win. I think Harden could beat any of them. I think Irving could beat any of them. I think Durant could beat any of them. I still think Durant is a top 2 player in the NBA right now. Harden's a top 5, and Irving overall probably top 15. I wouldn't say he's top 10 because, there's a lot of other players in the NBA, but I do think he's anywhere from top 15 to top 20. Complete scoring-wise, he might be top 10, but overall, I just don't think because of those 3 guys on the Nets are able to rain threes from anywhere on the court, in the 76ers not really being able to match up in that same way. The Nets will take care of them. Yes, like I said, Seth Curry can hit an open look 3. Same with Danny Green. Same with Tobias Harris. And really even Embiid, sometimes, given the absolute open look, could hit a 3. But really, I'm not going to say they can match up with these lethal threats on the Nets team when they're outside of the perimeter. In the paint, Joel Embiid will definitely get his. And I think we'll have a great series of putting up 35 a game, more than likely. But I don't think he will be able enough to get past Durant and Harden, Irving. I just think there's too much firepower on that team. Yes, they might be able to steal a game and make it a good series because of that Nets defense not being strong. But I think when you're locked in this playoff times, the 76ers in the past have not shown to be performing too well in the past few years. And the Nets and this team, I think, will lock down in the playoffs and finally find that defense they've been looking for. Yes, I know the past doesn't exactly replicate what will happen to the 76ers. I do think they'll get their stuff together this year in the playoffs compared to the past few years, but I don't think they will overcome this Nets team. And really, even if they get there, I don't think they're going to be able to take down a LeBron James or a Kawhi Leonard team. I just think the odds are too stacked against them no matter what. I think either the Brooklyn Nets, Los Angeles Lakers in the finals, the LA Clippers in the finals, the Phoenix Suns in the finals. I just don't see this 76ers team winning an NBA Finals this year. I'm not a 76ers fan, but I am kind of rooting for them. I don't want to see Kevin Durant and the Nets make it, but I'm not a Sixers fan. However, realistically, I don't think they'll make it there. I think this is a great team in the future. Embiid and Simmons can create something special and possibly make an NBA Finals in the future. If you keep Doc Rivers and you get an extra piece maybe. Yeah, I like Danny Green and Seth Curry, but none of those guys. Danny Green should not be a starter anymore. I think they need to try and replace him out in the future years and just get one more extra piece for this 76ers team to make a great run. This year, I'd like them to make it far, but not all the way. Future years, I'd like them to pull something off, but we'll just have to see what the future awaits. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the 76ers will go all the way? Do you think they'll make the playoffs? Do you think they'll make the NBA Finals? So on and so forth. Like I said, let me know. But for the question of the video, all-time leader in three-pointers made in the 76ers franchise history is, of course, AI, Allen Iverson. Thanks for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.